All right, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the Geek Remix podcast. I am Stacy.
And I'm Mari.
So, Mari, I thought that for starters, you could tell us about your vacation that you went on.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to say anything while I was there because I didn't want people to just show up. Hey, what's up? What are you doing here?
Who are you? What are you doing here?
I stayed in a cabin that was in a tree house.
It
was really
house.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It had a toilet and a shower and a sink and like a little stovetop. It was in a tree house. You know those like tiny houses that you see that's like super in right now? Because I don't know why. I realized this the other day where everyone's like, yeah, tiny houses are the way to go. It's the new thing. And it's always like some like really nice looking, like, not like rich couple, but they're trying to make it sound cool. And I was like, how come this seems like super fancy and everyone's making this sound fancy and then like people treat people who live in trailers like they're garbage. That's what I realized. I was like,
yeah,
this is like, I guess it's just the way that people quote unquote market it. But I'm like, this is way smaller and worse than a trailer, and trailers can be like really nice. So
well, I think at least part of the appeal behind tiny houses is also that when they're newly built, they are usually energy self-sufficient.
yeah,
So
but
that's definitely different from a trailer in that aspect. I'm not saying that like that means that trailers are bad. I'm just saying that that's like part of the marketing appeal that goes into it. So I think part of how people convince themselves that like, oh no, this is like better,
better than a trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, trailer houses can be really nice. So
Yeah.
um
And I don't think it's necessarily that people like think the trailer itself is bad. It's usually like part of the whole, like there's like a whole stigma around it that goes like more
definitely.
than that, like people have like a stigma around, people that live in trailer parks because they have like less money and like all that stuff. There's like, a whole,
there are trailer parks that look really nice.
Oh yeah. And I mean,
and there's like trailer parks that like are by like on a beach and stuff, and I'm like, maybe people chose to be in the trailer park by the beach because it's cheaper and they get to be by the beach.
Well, because it's cheaper, and it's also like if you don't have to live off of a ton of resources, like you can also, depending on the trailer home, like you could also just like hitch it up and leave if you wanted to.
Yeah.
If you felt like, if you felt like living in a trailer park up north for the summer, and then like going south in the winter, you can do that. You can just take your house with you.
Yeah, and if you just want to like not spend as much money on bills, or if you're somebody who's like always outside.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just saying. Anyway, so it was basically a tiny house that was in a tree. So if you guys want to know what a tiny house is, just like look it up on YouTube, and there'll be like a million videos of people being like, I love being in a tiny house because of this and this. Anyway, and my boyfriend's been like, oh yeah, I really want to live in a tiny house. I was like, that would never happen.
You guys would kill each other.
No, yeah. I mean, we got along just fine in the tiny house, but I was like sitting there like, no. But because I had to like get on a ladder and like climb up to the loft to get in bed, and it was just like a lot of moving around, but it was a fun thing to do because we were in a tree. So that was cool. It was like suspended between two trees.
Yeah. I feel like you guys value your alone time and your separate space too much to live in a tiny house.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm
like, you and your husband, like, you guys love just to like be together, because you'll be like, oh yeah, he's out of town, so I need to hang out with someone. I'm like, oh, what? No, just be by yourself. Lay in bed.
No, because what usually happens is we're sitting on like opposite ends of the couch, like each doing our own thing, but like together. I saw a really good comic actually that summed it up really well. It was like, none of this is real.
Well, now that Stacy's instilled that fear inside of me, I'm gonna feel obligated to talk to people. Great. Validate my existence. These weirdos who pointed their chairs at us while we were doing stuff, and I was like, what's wrong with you? But we made... What did we do?
Yeah.
Oh, we made a fire from scratch by using, like, a flint and stuff, and we cooked food in the fire, and then it rained, and then I twisted my ankle. So, basically, on our vacations, we like to make our vacation really, really cheap, as cheap as possible, and we also like to suffer, so then when we come home, we're like, ugh!
Oh, God,
better.
I'm home.
Yeah. We like to make it as miserable as possible, but, like, still fun, if that makes sense. Do we have any news? Stacy gets all the news. What's the news?
Yes. Hold on. One thing I want to talk about first, though. So, my gym the other day held, like, you're going to laugh, but it was really fun. They did, like, a dance party where we listened to, like, 90s boy bands, and they taught you, like, the choreographed dance moves. Like, and so you did, like, all of the choreographed moves. And, like, but it was, like, an aerobic workout. It was really fun. So you learned, you did, like, all, like, the moves from, like, Backstreet Boys videos and, like, NSYNC videos and stuff.
So you did jazzercise.
I've never done jazzercise or, like, Zumba or anything. It was really just like dancing around. That's what it was.
Jazzercise. She did jazzercise.
What is jazzercise?
I don't know. It's like...
I thought that was just, like, not, like, a choreographed routine. I thought that was just single moves.
I don't know. I don't know anything. I know that you put on a tracksuit that's way too big.
Oh, yeah. No tracksuit for me, thank you.
Your hair is very, very styled. Like, huge. Your hair is gigantic. I
have a pair of... one of my gym outfits, like, with the leggings and everything, it makes me look like Commander Shepard because they have the same kind of, like, blocking, like, color blocking on them. And they're in, like, the N7 colors.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You know, there's actual N7 leggings you can get, right?
I've been looking at them, but then I found, like, those other ones that are actually, like, meant for physical activity.
When they came out with the Tally and Garris hoodies, I was like, okay, so you made the Tally hoodie for women and the Garris hoodie for men. Like, you guys mixed this up bad. Like, you guys clearly don't know
the
what
fandom.
You're talking. Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure guys would love to wear a Tally hoodie because gamer guys don't give a shit. And then, like, girls want to wear the Garris hoodie, like, well,
of course,
duh, you want to wear your boyfriend's hoodie.
You want to wear your boyfriend's skin. Isn't that what everybody wants to do?
Well, let's be real, if you're into video games, you're a weirdo. Like, there's always that one guy who's like, that's weird. I'm like, and everyone else is like, yeah. But we're all here.
Like, just there's plenty of room in the trash can. Climb on in.
Yeah, we know it's garbage.
Yeah.
Okay, calm down.
I think it's funny when people try to act like they're, like, better than everybody else in the fandom. And it's like, no, okay?
You're not.
We're all here. You know?
Oh my god, I have to keep resisting reading fan fiction for Red Queen.
Oh. You know, there's one of the characters that what?
Sorry, I was coughing.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's one of the characters that I have a huge crush on, and, like, there's something that happens where...
Oh, yeah.
I shouldn't have a crush on them anymore.
The whole
but it
time
actually made me like them more.
No, the whole time I was sitting there like, girl, this guy, stop. No, bad news.
Yeah.
The whole time. Because it's like, girl...
No, okay, we can't talk about it anymore because I don't want to, like...
But then, okay, let me just say...
No, you are the worst.
No, I'm not gonna... Okay. It's gonna go in obvious directions, and then at the end, I was, like, aroused, and I was like, I shouldn't be aroused, but I'm aroused. And then I was like, don't read fan fiction of this. Don't read fan fiction of this. Don't do it.
Don't do it. I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, anyways, if you guys missed it, we talked about that book last week. It's called Red Queen. It's by Victoria Aveyard, and it is really good.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a Citizen Kane, but it's like,
okay,
it gives you what you need.
You know what? Like, when I say that things are really good, I don't look at something as I don't look at movies and I'm like, could that win an Oscar? And that's like, what's a good movie to me? Something that's good is it enjoyable?
Yeah.
Did I get something out of it that I was looking for? If so, then it's good to me.
Things I look for in books: is she a secret princess? And is she leading a rebel army?
I mean...
And everyone's like, that's so stereotypical. And I'm like, yeah, it's a stereotype because it's awesome and there should be more. There should be more than there already is. It should never end. There should be just...
I don't think it's so... Like, it's like when people enjoy, like, shitty movies, and, you can enjoy something for the garbage that it is. Like, it's okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, sorry to put the Audible in so quickly, but I gotta talk about this book.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Mostly because I just want to talk about it. It's called Throne of Glass. It's a series, and it's by Sarah J. Maas, and it's like Zevran from Dragon Age Origins was a woman in the main character. So she's an assassin, and she's been trained since she was like 8 years old to be
this
an
looks
assassin.
good.
Alright, so I'm just telling you guys, like...
How could you not want to read
setup.
these with these covers?
Are you looking at the covers right now?
I'm looking at them right now, and it's like just this like badass woman with long flowing white hair and like swords and...
daggers and
shit.
So this is all before the book even starts, but she was an assassin, and like a year ago she got caught doing something. She got like sold out by somebody.
Oh, it's sold out. Oh no.
She was known for like killing all like the high profile people because people were hiring her to do it. And then she got put into this slave camp because in the kingdom that she's in, there's slaves, and so she gets sentenced, and most people die within a month or two, but she survived because she's fucking badass.
Because she's a hard bitch.
And so then, very first chapter, the prince comes, and he's like hot and shit, and she's like, what's up? I've been a slave for a year, and I'm still sassy as fuck. Like, and he's like, I want you to compete in this tournament that will decide who's going to be the king's champion, blah, blah, blah. And he picks her to be his candidate, and there's like a whole bunch of intrigue. And one of the things I really like about this series is usually they really focus on like the love interest or whatever, and they focus on it like a lot, to the point where I'm like, all right, can we move on? But they also have a strong female friendship, which I really like.
I feel like that's rare.
Yeah. So at first, when I started like their first conversation, I was like, ooh, like raising my eyebrows, and I was like, oh no, this is like a solid like friendship, And everyone told me that there's sex in these books. I haven't found it yet, but I swear to God, there better be some.
Are they? I thought these books were young adult.
People say people fuck in it, so that's what I was promised. Probably not for a long time, because each book is like a month long, so.
There's a few non-descriptive sex scenes.
Oh, is that what it says?
Yeah.
I have yet to find it. It's pretty cool. Like in the second book, there's like a male escort, and there's like a lot of injustices in the kingdom, but she kind of doesn't care, but she does care, if that makes sense.
Maybe. I'm like...
She's kind of vapid. is what I will say. But in this way where she actually does care, but at the same time she's like, I've paid my dues. I'm kind of done. I will kill. You know how usually the main character story is like, I can't believe I killed this person. Like,
you need to let other people read the book.
I just want people to know what they're getting in for, because I read a bunch of reviews and I was really hesitant because everyone was calling her really vapid and shallow and blah, 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 blah. Vapid and shallow and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what, I'll give it a chance. And she was vapid and shallow in an awesome way, so it was good.
Well, that sounds cool. Yeah, it's on Audible, so if you guys want to check it out, you can use our link because they sponsor us, and it's audibletrial.com/geekremix, and you can check it out for free. So, in news, all right, so Nokia's $60,000 Ozo virtual reality camera starts shipping, and you can actually rent it. So
the what?
A virtual reality camera. So what it is it's like a sphere. I don't know if you've ever seen like these things, but basically it's like a sphere on a pole. It looks kind of like a mace with a bunch of cameras, like 8 cameras and microphones, like all inside the sphere. So that it can capture sound and video coming from every direction.
Cool.
And so you could foreseeably, you know, hold it like and carry it throughout wherever you want to record, and record in virtual reality. And the fact that people can rent it means that this could open the field to people who can't afford to buy a $60,000 camera.
For some reason, and I do know why, all I can imagine is somebody standing there with their sphere camera, like, and then somebody, like, spreading their ass cheeks in front of it. I don't know why.
But, like, what would be the point of that? How would that...
There's a lot of points for that.
No, but, like, how would that be better than, like a 2D...
Okay, so 4 people in all directions with their butts.
Yeah.
I just know something...
There you go, because then you can, like, look around at other things, you know? You gotta,
other
like...
butts.
Yeah.
I just... For some reason, I don't know why... I'm like, this seems like a bad idea. Like, not a bad idea, but just like, we're going to go down dark paths. So we're going to some dark things.
I don't know. I can't really think of what people could do with virtual reality that would be worse than what we already have.
So anyway, it was a joke.
Or just like time, you know, that people will get lost in it. I feel like... But, you know,
You can't wait until we get lost in virtual. You're waiting for the day.
No, I know.
Stacey.
I've tried the virtual reality stuff. I haven't seen anything that made me think, like, oh, this looks viable.
Did you do the phone virtual reality or the actual virtual reality?
No, the phone. Oh. But, like, so I get really nervous when I can't see, like, peripheral vision. Like, so the idea of having, like, my head in a thing... Like, I'm just thinking of how I feel when I have, like, a scuba mask on, and it, like, freaks me out, and I don't like it.
Have you seen videos of the people in the virtual reality rooms?
No.
Oh, my
God.
I mean, people forget they're in virtual reality. They forget.
See, I feel like it would be so cool if you could do, like, if you had everything. If you had, like, haptic gloves, if you had, like, the treadmill.
They do have that.
I know, but I'm not going to have that.
No. I don't know if you've seen these, but like, it's a room. It's an 11 by 11 room.
I know it exists. I know it exists, but
have you seen what people do when they're like filming them in the room?
No, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying I am never going to have that experience. So why would I be interested?
You could come over to my house.
You're gonna have a virtual reality room.
I mean, I have room that we could set it up in. And I'm sure Raphael would totally be down for it. But I'm like,
You know that means you'd have to clean, right?
Yeah, I would.
Oh yeah. All right.
Stacy gives me shit.
You let me know how that goes.
Things I did when we lived together, and I never give her shit for any of the things that she did.
You let me know how that goes, trying to clear off an 11 by 11 patch of carpet somewhere in your house.
I'll just tell Raphael to clean up his stupid clothes room.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I don't have any room in this house. I'm like, you have an entire room
to do whatever you want with. I know.
And then what you chose to do is just throw your clothes all over it. He's like, oh, that's just not my room. And I'm like, it's clearly your room. It's filled to the brim with your stuff.
Yeah, I know. I mean, how much? I wonder how much those what do they call them? Like every direction treadmill? What is?
Those look stupid as fuck. I'm sorry,
but
they're
like,
dumb.
what's the point of having virtual reality if you can't have something like that? If you can't walk in every direction, because then you're confined to like a square, you know?
I'm sure that there will be a treadmill like in the movie Gamer where it actually makes sense, but the one that you see right now, they're like, yeah, you can go in any direction, and people are like falling over and shit. It's not really a treadmill. They put plastic slips on your feet, and you kind of fall everywhere, and you got like a thing up your butt.
Yeah,
like it's not good looking. It's like everyone's like, oh yeah, it's great, but they're clearly like falling, and they can't do it.
Yeah, I feel like this is the type of thing that it's going to take a while for me to be interested in it until the technology has like caught up, you know?
I want to, be cool is
this
if
is
you
like
could
asking
go
somebody
somewhere
what
and like, buy a ticket and then they'll like let you be in their room for an hour and you play something. That would be something useful. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it would be cool. I just feel like it's not worth it to me until all the parts are there, you know? Like, I've tried the virtual reality stuff with a phone and I hate it. It's shit. I don't like having a screen like right up to my face like that.
I like it, but I don't do it too much.
And like it was really I don't understand. I know that virtual reality is also very touchy to like the spacing of your face. So like if the spacing of your face is not ideally matched to the mask itself and everything like that, it'll appear either foggy or like weird, or it'll just look off.
There are some the one that's made by Steam, that one is supposed to be like the apex of like anybody's eyeballs. Like, yeah, it works on anybody, even on people who don't have depth perception, and then they will have it. And then
yeah.
So apparently that one is supposed to be the one that really works, and then the HTC one is supposed to be the one that, like, I was looking at videos of people trying to stick their head through the floor or through the walls and stuff, because in the virtual reality they opened up the window and they're like, oh, let me put my head through the window, and they forget that they're not in the virtual world, they're in the real world.
Yeah.
And they were like trying to stick their head through the floors and stuff.
That's funny.
So I guess it's like there's got to be some sort of hybrid king coming soon.
Yeah. Man, so to the audience, if you are at all interested in virtual reality, you have to listen or read Ready Player One.
Yeah.
It is like all of the excitement that you could think of for virtual reality, it's like all in this book. I can't
imagine the immersion that people are having with the system that they're explaining, but whatever.
It was all so vivid to me. It was so good.
I know, but they're all like sitting there. Well, that guy gets that whole full body apparatus, which was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminded me of how, even people now, like some people get set up with like a full like wall of monitors and things like that.
Here's the thing. If that came out, I'd be like, I cannot get it because I can't handle MMOs. Yeah. I can't handle them because they don't end. Mm-hmm. I need games that end. Like, I want games to last forever, but I know that I need a game that ends. Otherwise, it's
the wow factor.
I cannot play World of Warcraft.
I know.
I know that it's like not as
good job.
Only World of Warcraft nerds will understand what I just said.
Google is bringing Google's bringing this feature called Indie Corner to the Google Play Store that will promote games from smaller studios. And so the idea is to bring all of it.
Yeah.
So there's going to be an Indie Corner feature in the Google Play Store.
Okay.
You know, like where you download mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
So that it.
Like, is it gonna? Do they have any sort of quality aggregate, or is that not said?
In the, like, I would assume it's going to be like a featured type corner, like as in like they'll look for things and it'll like they'll select them to put in the indie corner, as opposed to just any game that comes out from a smaller studio will just automatically go there. You know, like it'll be a curation system.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Which I think would be good, as opposed to just being like, oh, like, does your studio have less than 15 people? Then you automatically go over there. Because then it's just garbage.
There's Desera. There's a few places where we
can go find the garbage.
Well, you have to get a certain level of garbage.
Yeah.
Because if it's complete garbage, you're
garbage, like boobs in the thumbnail garbage.
Yeah, if there's boobs in the thumbnail.
Like, really poorly rendered, though.
Yeah, weirdly rendered.
Weirdly. Like, they look like, you know, not like the My Life dolls, but like the actual, like, blow-up plastic sex dolls.
Yeah.
It looks like that, but in a video game, in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
That's what we look for.
And it's really creepy.
Yeah.
So you're like...
What was it? Island
Adventure.
Island Adventure, yes.
Island Adventure.
Island Adventure.
You see her standing on the lake. She is surprised. Her eyes are bright.
And just popping on every single pee.
It was disgusting. I could feel his stinky breath on my ears.
All the way through, and we couldn't even do it. We did it for like 40 minutes, and then we were just like, I give up.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we're going to fully play this. Couldn't.
You may have heard about this, but the Assassin's Creed movie, have you heard about the pre-order bonuses?
You can pre-order the movie?
No. Pre-order with like a ticket. So you get a ticket to the movie, and then if you pay extra, you can get these bonus packages.
Show up. It's not going to be sold out.
Okay, no. For instance, this is so that you can get, like, bonus items. Just listen to this, though, okay? So on the low end is, like, if you pay $15, you get a ticket to the movie, a collectible watch, temporary tattoos, and a digital copy of the screenplay. On the high end, if you pay $1,200... you can get a replica of the crossbow used in the film.
What? How much money?
Like $1,200 for an assassin. What?
Who's playing Ezio?
Is it Fassbender? I thought Michael Fassbender.
I'm gonna check something real quick. And then I'll point something out.
I thought that hold on. I think it's Michael Fassbender. No. I don't know. It doesn't have like the full listings on the IMDb page, so I don't know.
Okay.
But, yeah, $1,200 will get you a crossbow. And then, I haven't played any of the Assassin's Creed games, but Aguilar?
Aguilar?
Aguiar? I don't know. That's the guy that's played by Michael Fassbender. And you can get, like, an assassin-style hoodie, t-shirt, blah, blah, blah. The movie is coming out on December 21st, provided it doesn't get pushed back or anything.
Okay. Aguilar is Moorish.
Okay.
Which means he's Middle Eastern.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And they have him play...
The Moors were Muslims who lived around the western Mediterranean Sea that originated from African Berbers. Okay, Michael Fassbender, whatever you say.
Why would they do that? Well,
they always do that. With Prince of Persia, they had Jake Gyllenhaal.
I know.
Like, it's just pointing it out. That's all we need to do. We just point it out. Okay, Michael Fassbender. You know, like, I'll just say this. I know I was going to say, okay. You know, actors can say no to a role. They can say no. And I know, like, oh, it's a video game movie. It's not that important. I'm like, you can say no.
Well, does this matter? He also plays Caleb Lynch.
Well, that would probably be his
modern day descendant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, cool.
And Aguilar is a Spanish surname.
No, but he's descended from the Moors.
Yeah.
He's from the Spanish Brotherhood, but he is of the Moors.
Yeah.
So, cool. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
I don't know if they just have him, like, playing... I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I don't really know.
I don't want to talk about it anymore because it's just going to be, like, a bunch of people leaving comments saying stupid shit, and I don't want to talk about it. And if you want to say, Mario, you're so wrong, just message me because I think... that's stupid.
Yeah. I don't understand, like, even if they wanted to... Yeah. I don't know exactly what their purpose was in doing that. I mean, they have him playing, aside from to just, like, have him play his own, like, the guy that he descends from, his ancestor, they're having him play his own ancestor. You know? Or... whatever. But but you don't have to do that. I don't understand why. Well,
okay, in case somebody's gonna be like, Spanish people are white, just in case, like, this is just from history. The Moors went to Spain and then became a part of Spanish culture. Just in case you guys are wondering.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, but I mean, this is all like set in. I don't know. This is all set in a universe that I'm not familiar with, so I'm just.
It's set in our universe, technically.
No, I'm saying like I'm not familiar with the Assassin's Creed universe, so I can't really comment on it.
I played the first game, and then I fell off a tower, and I was like, okay, I'm done. And then I played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and I was like, this is okay. It's just not my kind of thing. I know that other people really like it a lot. It's just not my kind of thing.
Yeah. In terms of other media that is transferring to another one, so the Preacher series, for those of some of you may know, Preacher is actually my favorite graphic novel series ever, and they're making a TV show of it on AMC.
So they can... Never mind.
Well, it was a graphic novel series from the 90s. So
I'm just still really bitter about what they did with The Walking Dead. Like, pissed about it.
Why?
Because remember that director got all of his friends to do his pet project on AMC for him and was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do The Walking Dead. I'm going to make it really good. Had the first season and he was like, so proud of my project, got all my friends to sign up for it and like merely made it good, and then AMC fired him from his own show that he created.
Oh God.
And then they fired all the writers, which is why from season 2 onward you're like, what's going on? Why is it suddenly like just okay?
Oh, I mean, I thought you didn't even watch the show.
I watched the first season and then I went into the second season. I was like, something's different. Why is this suddenly like really weird? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe they did that to somebody.
Oh, that's a shame.
He literally got all of his... The reason why it had such a good cast is because this is a guy who directed a lot of really good movies, and he was like passionate about making this series. So he got all of his friends to do this for him, being like, I know it's a zombie TV show, but can you please just do this? And he really brought it, and then they fired him from his own show just to save money.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was like,
the show does get good after the second season. The second season, like, you know, they tried to do that thing that they sometimes do in zombie shows where they're like, oh, we're going to have them, like, pick a place and stay there. And we're going to, like, ignore the fact that there are zombies for a little while.
They did that to save money, not because there was any sort of story reason.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, they do it under the guise of, like, quote-unquote character development.
Except none of the characters developed there.
Yeah, except, like, if it's not written very well, then everyone's just bored.
I couldn't really respect the show anymore because I was like, wow, they, like, stole this from a guy who put his name on the line for it and all of his friends on the line, which is why that one guy, the old guy, got killed because he wanted out of the show because he was like, what? Later.
That doesn't happen until a couple seasons later, though.
No, the old guy. He dies in season 2.
Which old guy? No, I don't even remember. I only remember one. That was Herschel.
He dies in season 2, and that's pretty, like, that's all I remember.
Oh. Maybe it was a different old guy.
No, not the old guy who was a veterinarian. He comes in season 2.
Yeah.
The other old guy.
Oh, I didn't even remember that guy.
Well, he was a very good actor, and he was in a lot of very good movies, and he left the show because his friend got
And you should
fired.
know that, Stacey.
I think that a lot of people should know what horrible things happened and how much, like, they just stole that show because it was a moneymaker, and he wanted to have, like, the show be good, and then they just were like, no, let's just have a bunch of product placement for Axes.
For Axes?
You don't remember all, like, the merchandise that they kept putting on the show? Like, where the little kid goes up to the car and pulls out, like, this, like, axe kit. And then, like, later you can see that you can buy that axe kit as official Walking Dead merchandise for your zombie survival thing.
I don't remember that at all.
I remember it clearly being like, is this real life? Is this real?
I don't know. I'm pretty, like, unless a product placement is, like, somebody, like, holding up, I feel like I've become just, like, completely numb to it. Somebody would have to, like, hold up a Coke and have it be like, I'm going to have some of this delicious Coke. Gulp, gulp, gulp. For me to, like...
Have you seen World War Z?
Yes.
And where Brad Pitt's like, just defeated the zombies. I need an ice cold Pepsi. Ah.
See, I don't remember that either.
What?
Yeah.
He literally just defeats the zombies, goes up to a Pepsi machine, and, like, grabs a Pepsi and drinks it.
I'm, like, impervious to advertising. Like, if I don't want to see it, I completely ignore it. It happens
anyway,
to, like...
Talk about Preacher.
Okay, so anyways, Preacher, and I'm a little, you know, as you can imagine, a little nervous to, like, be excited about it. Mm-hmm. But I usually try to look at things, like, if it's like something that you like and it's transferring to another media, like, for instance, like a graphic novel that's transferring to a show, you have to go into it thinking, like, this is inspired by the thing that I like, but it's not going to be a recreation. Because
I try to think of it as fan fiction.
Yeah, it's like, it's never going to be as good as the thing that you already love. It's like when they make, you know, Star Trek movies that are inspired by the TV show. It's never going to be the same. Like, just don't expect it to be the same. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Mm-hmm. You know, if you loved the Assassin's Creed games, don't go into the movie thinking to yourself, it's going to be exactly like the game that I love. Because it's not. It can never be that. It's like a different medium. It's a different story. You know,
the Silent Hill films, I feel like, were really good, even though they did not follow the story of Silent Hill.
But they're different. It doesn't mean that they're bad, but you have to look at it like it's a separate thing, you know? And just enjoy it for what it is, which means that you might really enjoy the story.
Maybe.
Like if they made a Life is Strange movie, for instance.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Okay. The nightmare that would be the Life is Strange movie.
But think about it. You wouldn't
She ends up with Warren.
You wouldn't... But, oh my god.
It would be like...
The fandom would collapse.
No, because the studio would be like, no, she ends up with Warren, the nice guy, like, that's movie friendly. And then,
oh my god.
And then, like, it would just be so bad.
Everybody would just... Can you imagine? I think Tumblr would, like, set itself on fire.
Tumblr would be so mad and not do anything about it. You know, just say a bunch of mean shit and tell people they should kill themselves, but not actually do anything to change it.
Yeah. Just go say a bunch of random shit and have no effect on anything, and then
like
5 minutes later...
Like, message a 14-year-old who said, I like the Life is Strange movie, and then just tell them, and then take all their hate out on that 14-year-old, because that's how you get things done.
And then 2 weeks later, be on to some other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyways, so Preacher is going to be premiering on May 22nd of this year. It stars Dominic Cooper as Jesse Custer. For those of you who aren't familiar with the story, it's Jesse Custer is a preacher who basically has his soul like tied to like a demon angel creature. And so he goes on a mission to find God. Also, he's a friend that's a vampire who is like super awesome. And Dominic Cooper, you guys have, it's like really weird. I was trying to look up to see if there were any like big things that he was in so that I could like explain to people what other stuff he's been in. He's actually in the Warcraft movie.
Who?
Dominic Cooper, the guy who plays Jesse Custer in Preacher, is also in the Warcraft movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of like a funny tie-in. But he was the guy that starred in The Devil's Double, which was a movie about the guy that played Uday Hussein's, Saddam Hussein's son's double, like body double. And like all the crazy stuff that he had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some questioning about like, was that story even real? You know, because people were like, there's like no verification that this guy exists. But whether it was true or not, the movie was pretty good. It had like a pretty incredible story behind it.
What was the movie called?
The Devil's Double.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
I
that?
watched that, yeah.
Yeah.
And it said it was a true story. I was like, oh, it's a true story. And then I guess...
You know, it's pretty crazy as a true story, but even if it's not a true story, it's something that you could picture happening and then them covering up and saying that it's not a true story.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea to say something's a true story when it isn't. Unless it's like Fargo when you're like, no, that's definitely not a true story.
Well, but what I'm saying is if they said it's a true story and then, I mean, like, and then people were like, oh, well, we can't find any verification of it. So is it really a true story? There's other instances of that happening, you know?
I don't think it's a good idea. If there's no verification for it happening, I really don't think a movie maker would be the only person who knows about that.
Yeah. I
don't think it's socially responsible to make a story like that and then say it's true. Because when you do things like that, then it gets thought of as fact, and then other things. I don't think it's very socially responsible.
I don't know what the verification level was for it. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying I could have pictured it being true and then there being a concerted effort to cover up the story. That's what I'm saying.
A lot of things in that movie, if they said were true and then were not verified, I can see that being a huge problem, because a lot of things happening in that movie and then they said, oh, that really happened, and then I found out it didn't really happen. That would be a huge problem. I would think that would be a very big problem.
Yeah. I don't know. I generally go into, like, it's a true story viewing it as a fictional story that's like based in reality, but that is not real. Because anytime you watch a movie that's like based on a true story, it's never all true. Never.
Well, they said the Chainsaw Massacre was based on a true story, so.
They always, like, sensationalize some of it.
But did it say based on a true story, or did it say a true story?
Okay, so this was... I didn't actually, like, research this to talk about this on the podcast. This was literally just me saying, hey, Dominic Cooper was also in The Devil's Double. So if people are interested in that, they can go look at it. So, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just literally just me saying that's he also acted in this movie. I didn't like...
Because, like, if you know, like, I just think for that particular topic to say, this is a true story, and then it's not a true story, and none of the things in the movie were a true story, I'd be like, that's a big lie. That's a very bad lie to tell.
I don't think that's what it was. I think what it was people...
The film purportedly based on a true story of Latif
so,
Yahai.
I don't know, because they say that his story wasn't real. I don't know. I don't really...
you guys can just Google it and figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting... I viewed it as a fictional story, and I liked it. Because I don't usually look at things that are... Even if people say
it's not about that, though. I just think it's not socially responsible to do something like that, especially on a topic like that.
Understandably so, but what I'm saying is that, like, for people that watch these things and expect any documentary or any movie that's based in fact to give, like, the full story and to be completely 100% accurate, they never are. So
most people don't know that. When you tell somebody it's a fact, like, there's some sort of social responsibility to... When you're presenting somebody with, like, hey, this is a true story, or hey, this is a documentary, like, there is, even if it's common that people lie, it doesn't make it okay for me.
I'm not saying it makes it okay. I'm saying that people should have, like, a critical eye for the truth when they watch things. That's all. Like, you know, it's like when we say things on the podcast, like, if you're interested in it, you should... You know, go do research about it. It's like if we mention things like on our videos and stuff, like we are not field experts in most of the things that we talk about. So if you're interested in it, then like, you know, go do some research and like, have your own opinions about it. Yeah. Because, you know, rarely are you going to listen to something and be given, like, the full story with 100% fact. And that doesn't always mean that somebody's lying to you. It just means that it's not feasible for somebody to give you, like, a 100%, like, 360-degree view of an issue that they're talking about.
Well, especially for podcasts, where most of the people are like, I researched it on the internet, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to have... That's, like, one of the things that you learn a lot about in college is having, like, kind of, like, a critical eye towards, like, media sources and being able to look at things on the internet and say, like, can I find this in multiple places? Has this been verified? Like, do I believe that this is true? Things like that, you know?
All the time, I still see kids today being like, why can't I cite Wikipedia? I'm like, because it's Wikipedia.
Yeah.
If you want to source it, go to the source on Wikipedia, click it, and read that in full. Yeah. And then use that.
The original source.
Use the original source, not Wikipedia. Wikipedia can get by, like, oh my God. Like, so many people will just Wikipedia something and be like, oh, I know about it. I'm like, you don't know shit.
Yeah, if you need, like, Wikipedia is good for, like, quick facts, or if you need something that is, like, pretty common knowledge, and,
or if you just want a basic understanding of something.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a paper, I think it's a good idea to read the Wikipedia page and then click on the source from that Wikipedia page and read that.
Mm-hmm.
That's always good. Because anybody can edit Wikipedia. And I know, like, it's, like, modded and stuff, or moderated and stuff, but you see all the time on Wikipedia, like, joke edits.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Or, you get somebody in there who disagrees with, something that happened, and you'll get edits that, maybe have conflicting viewpoints of a situation, Humans aren't perfect. Like, we can't...
Until our robot overlords take over.
Yes. We'll just have to depend on faulty human reporting on Wikipedia. I, for one, will welcome our robot overlords.
I can't wait.
Do you want to get to a couple questions?
Sure.
All right. So, first question. What are your thoughts about the over-sexualization of women in comics? DC has claimed it to be women's quote-unquote liberated sexuality, but it's hard to take the readings seriously.
Right. I can't take it seriously because a man said it.
What?
DC?
Yeah.
All the execs at DC are men.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
Like, I hate it. Okay. Yes, liberated sexuality is good. I just fucking hate it when companies and stuff take that and they're like, oh, but it's okay because it's liberated sexuality. I'm like, stop that.
Well, so here's the thing. Liberated sexuality means the freedom to be sexual or to not be sexual. It just means that you have the ability to do whatever you want. And for some people, that's, staying a virgin until they're married. For some people, that's having sex with many different partners. For some people, that's dressing more provocatively. And for other people, it's, wearing pajamas outside all the time. Being liberated doesn't mean any one thing. Being liberated means you have the choice to do with your body what you want to. So claiming that the sexualization of women in comics is liberated sexuality, it's not accurate, because if the women are all depicted in the same way, then they're all just the same thing. That's not necessarily liberated or not.
Every single one of your characters having their suit be molded to their tits is not liberated. If you want to do that, then you're going to have to add more characters, not take away, add more, where their definition of their own sexuality is different, where their outfit is different. So don't take away the characters, add more, or take some of the characters where it would make sense, where they wouldn't have their tits molded, and be like, maybe give them an outfit that would be a little bit more sensible. Because a lot of people will bring up, like, oh, they're supposed to be superhuman, and I'm like, right, okay. So then the women are superhumanly sexual. They have huge tits and stuff. And I was like, okay, then how come I don't see an outline of a gigantic cock in Superman and Batman's and stuff's suits? If they're supposed to be superhuman, super amazing, I want to see the outlines of penises.
Yeah.
And, or,
no answers about that, huh? Never got an answer about that. Weird. I can't imagine why.
So, what about that? And then, there's the pictures of male characters drawn in the same type of outfits as female characters and stuff. And then, how their bodies twist in inorganic ways. You can't fucking say that. Well, you can say it. You can say whatever you want. But, like, using that phrasing pisses me off, because I guarantee you, it's just, like, they miss the mark so much. Like, with the Batwoman cover with the Joker with the gun to her head and she was crying, I didn't read all of that Batwoman's saga, but I read some of it, And that was not within her character at all. She would not cry if that was happening to her. Mm-hmm. She'd be like, do it, bitch. Shoot me in the fucking head. Like, that's what she would be like. She would be like, do it, Joker. Do it. Do it. Do it. Like, that's what she would be like. Also, I think that version of Batwoman was also a lesbian.
Oh, if you guys want to see the pictures of all, like, the male comic book stars in the female poses, you can go to thehawkeyeinitiative.com.
But, yeah, sorry. I guess just, like, for some reason, I just imagined a PR exec being like, just say it's women liberation. And I'm like...
No, that's like some marketing bullshit where they're like, no, we'll say it's women's liberated sexuality. All the feminists will love it.
I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like, I really don't have a problem. In fact, I enjoy really sexy female characters. I enjoy them.
Me too.
When that's the only option,
yeah,
that's when I know that this isn't for me. Like, not saying it's not for me. I'm like, this isn't intended for me.
It isn't
like,
intended,
you don't care about my money. You don't care about me getting my money. Like, you're just trying to appease me to get me to shut up instead of actually trying to get my money. Like, my money is worth just as much as anybody else's. Why don't you want it? Mm-hmm. So, anyway, what's the next question?
Next question. So somebody asked us to tell the story of the time... And I know that we told this on an episode once, but they asked us to tell the story of the time that I got quarantined.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Do you remember well, I don't remember. I honestly have no idea when we told that story.
It was during Soma.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, when you were talking about eating blood and everything.
Yeah.
So when Mari and I met in treatment for women with mental health issues, it was like a residential facility, so we lived there with 30 other women so.
There were like these lodges, but you were locked in with magnetic locks. It was like nice, but it also was kind of like, what?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I think that was because,
no, we were magnetically locked into a nice place that was kind of dirty, but it was nice.
Well, I mean, but if you have people that are there recovering from some pretty serious things, then...
Yeah, I mean, there were some people who kept trying to, escape. But it wasn't... Anyway, we'll continue.
Anyways, I got the swine flu, and they were really nervous about it spreading to everybody else, and so they had to quarantine me in my own room with none of my stuff, and I had to just be there by myself and couldn't leave the room or talk to anybody.
I don't understand. You had been there for a while, and I had no idea where you got swine flu from.
I don't know. I mean, I had a really bad fever. I was hallucinating at one point.
Yeah, you couldn't eat with anybody else. You had to sit by yourself.
Yeah.
And then I drew lips on your mask.
I had one of those medical masks, that they put over your face, just over your mouth, so that I couldn't I don't know, breathe.
They should have taken you to the hospital, I think, but
yeah, and I'm not sure exactly why they didn't. I don't know.
Maybe they just thought swine flu is just a really bad flu, but it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, I ended up being fine, but
yeah, I don't know though. You could have gotten really sick.
Yeah. But anyways, so that was when I was quarantined, and Mari and my other friends there would just sit on the other side of the doorway and talk to me because we couldn't sit in the same area. So they had to talk to me through the door.
Well, we weren't allowed to go into each other's rooms.
Yeah. But I mean, I couldn't go out, I guess was my point.
Yeah.
I couldn't just go out into the hallway and talk to you. I had to just sit on the other side of the door.
Did you have any books or anything? I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
I don't remember what I was just thinking about that. I must have had books or something. Maybe that was when I started reading all those erotica books. Because that's where I found them.
Oh, yeah, because they were in that weird book place.
Yeah.
Filled with weird books things.
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird time. They should have taken you to the hospital. Maybe they didn't want to get, like, in trouble or something. Like,
I'm not sure. I know that when I was reading about the swine flu later, I did read that it was possible to have false positives for it.
I'm pretty sure you had swine flu because you were dying.
I know I was dying. I was really, really sick. I remember them like taking blood to do labs and everything, and me just being just laying there, not able to do anything or get out of bed.
Whoever was the blood lady there was amazing, because like she would come and take her blood when we were sleeping, and I could barely feel it.
And you wouldn't even know.
I know, you could still be asleep, because usually when you get your blood taken, you're like, oh fuck, that hurts. Yeah. You know, you're like, ugh, and I freak out about needles a lot. When she would come, I'd be like, oh, and she's like, I'm done. I'm like, you did
it? I know. I love how they just like, it's like they wouldn't even make you get out of bed because for those in the audience, they would have to take your blood to like run tests on it because like when they're giving you like medications for like mental health issues, a lot of times they want to check your blood levels to make sure that you're healthy, to make sure that you're getting the levels of things that you need.
There was also, they had to check your other levels too. For, like, nutrition and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of times when people, like, are having, like, a hard time taking care of themselves, when they have to basically make sure that they're giving you enough food and, like, getting your levels of nutrients back up.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people weren't able to take care of themselves very well.
Yeah.
So they would just make sure, you know, your electrolytes are balanced and, you know, a whole score of other things. Which it really doesn't bother me to get my blood drawn anymore because I feel like I've had it done so many times.
It still bothers me. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Except for that one lady, whoever she was, she's an angel.
She's an angel.
She was the best blood taker I've ever experienced.
I remember them having to like wake me up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to like go get my like weight and everything done. Because they would want to, like, wake you up basically before...
You can have anything to drink.
Yeah, before you have anything to drink or before the day starts. And they'd take your weight and then, like, basically send you back to bed.
Well, that's because people would cheat.
Yeah.
They're like, gotta wake them up before they even know.
Gotta wake them up before they know what's going on. And then you'd have to, like, stumble down the hallway half asleep.
Yeah.
So, another question was... I'm having really intense second thoughts about going to college. I want to pursue an art-related profession, but I fucking hate school. And then it goes on for a while so this person has good grades. They have like a 3.7, but they've had that for 3 years. They have another year to decide if they want to go to college, and I'm stuck on whether I want to go or not because I know that hating it will make it that much harder, and I don't want to waste my time or money.
That's a hard question.
Yeah. So I have a couple thoughts on this. One, I don't think that taking a year off is necessarily a bad idea. I know that I wish that I had been... So for me, I started going to college right after I was in high school. So I went to college for 2 years, and then I ended up having to drop out because I was having, like, really bad issues with my mental health. Had to, like, go home, and then, like, ended up working for a while. Like, a whole bunch of, like, really complicated life things happened. And then, like, 8 years later, you know, a year ago now, I started going back to school because I wanted to finish my degree. And part of the reason that I really wanted to finish my degree was, one... because I always just felt like I had left something unfinished by not finishing the degree. And I wanted to, and it makes me like feel proud of myself that I know I'm going to finish it now. Another thing was also that depending on the profession that you want to go into, having a degree, it can help open the door for you to other jobs that you might not otherwise have the opportunity to pursue if you don't have a degree. And I know that a lot of people, for a long time, I thought that that was just like having the piece of paper, being able to say like, I have a degree, and then people would take you seriously. But what I'm realizing is it's more about like, did you have the resolve to finish something for 4 years that you didn't have to do, that you weren't like required to do, but you did it anyway? Also, college, depending on the school that you go to, like it teaches you things about the world that while you may not necessarily use them at work, you use them in life, like learning how to, you know, structure your time when nobody is holding you accountable, and learning how to deal with people that aren't like you and things like that. That I feel like high school doesn't really teach you. Mm-hmm. That being said, I do understand that for not everybody has the time or money to be able to go to college. So if you have the opportunity to go, I would recommend it. But if you don't, I also wouldn't feel like you're somehow doomed because you don't get to go. Like they have things now like Coursera or Udacity, which can teach you a lot of the same skills that you might learn in college. You won't have a degree that you'll be able to show to an employer, but you'll be able to learn like the same types of things. And, you know, when you put yourself through courses on your own like that, that shows an employer and yourself that you are disciplined and that you can like learn things when somebody isn't forcing you to do it, you know? Mm-hmm. But I know that you had kind of like a similar experience with school. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, because it's like whatever I say, people are going to take seriously, and then they're going to like base their decision off what I say. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is.
I feel like especially with college, the situation it's different for everybody. Like you got to know yourself. So if you feel like you want to take a year off between high school and college, go for it. If that's like going to make you more determined, like if that's going to give your brain the rest it needs so that you can go back, then do it, you know?
And you also have to ask yourself, why do you hate school? Because high school is very different than college.
So different than college.
So college, people are different in college.
Yeah.
Everybody is just very, very different in college.
And you get to choose your own classes.
You choose your own classes. You choose your friends. There's like billions of people. You can choose your friends.
Yeah. People don't care about the same type of shit in college because everybody is more focused on themselves and their own friends than like what everybody else is doing, you know?
Yeah.
Like all of those like high school cliques that are so shitty or might be so shitty to you like in high school, like gone, you know?
And anyone
you'll never have to deal
like
with those people again.
I mean, that's their problem, not yours.
Big time.
So, I mean, just like college, it's just so much different than high school. So you have to ask yourself, what is it that I don't like about school? And if has to do, like, just, if you want to take a year off, decide what you want to do, make sure that year is productive, you know? Don't just, like, fuck around. Maybe travel or learn a new skill, something.
Or even just have, you know, like a job for a year, earn some money. Like, especially if you're still living with your parents, then you can save up some money.
To pay for college.
That's always good. I know, speaking from experience, like things that employers look for is they look for you to use your time productively and to like learn things. So even if you take like a year between college and high school, to just, you know, do something with that time, you know?
Yeah.
It's, you know,
so what's the next question?
Next question. I wanted to ask you for some advice on psychologists. I started to go to one a couple weeks ago, and I'm always
Why'd you pick all the heavy questions, Stacey?
Sorry.
You're like, Just pick nothing less.
These are the types of questions I get all the time. I don't get like fluffy.
I get those questions too, and I stopped answering because I'm not an expert.
Okay. Well, I don't think this is a very hard question. I started to go to one a couple weeks ago, and I'm always very uncomfortable. She asks me to talk, but never asks me anything. And there's always like this awkward silence. Is this normal? I don't want to be overreacting if it's something normal.
It's normal.
Yeah, it is. So, especially when you first meet a psychologist, like there's always that, I don't know, period of time where it's like you're kind of getting to know each other. They also want to kind of like let you talk, you know?
If you want to start talking, one thing you can do is just like write down throughout the week things that bothered you. Bring it with you. You don't have to say anything in the moment. You can just decide if you want to talk about those things, but it's a good thing to start off with, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
It's normal to be like, no, I'm not saying shit.
Yeah. And you know, psychiatrists aren't like, it's not like a marriage. You're not like locked into one.
Yeah,
you can pick another one. Like if you really don't like the one that you have. But I find that sometimes with like mental health professionals, unless like you're uncomfortable for a reason like that's like really bad, like if you're just uncomfortable because, you know, you have to look at it and say like, is this something that they're doing, or am I uncomfortable talking about myself, you know? Like sometimes they'll actually do shitty things, and that's when you should like switch psychiatrists. But if it has more to do with the fact that you don't know what to say to them, then just, you know, you just gotta work on it, you know? If either of you could make a game, what would it be? The basic plot, setting, game mechanic, etc., without worrying about budget and other stuff.
I'm already making a game, but I don't want to say anything about it to anybody until we're at least halfway through.
Well, if you could make literally anything that was like any budget, what would you do?
I would basically make a fantasy fulfillment for any demographic that like isn't catered to. It would be the most pandering game.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you're pandering.
No, it would be basically like
Panderer.
Pandering Sim, the game. It would have basically everything all the smaller demographics want. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the extreme wish fulfillment. Like, you know?
I view that as
if
like
I had unlimited money, I'd be like, fuck it, I'll do whatever I want.
I feel like that's an element of a game.
No, it'll be the whole game, because people are like, well, how come it's not a stronger part of the storyline? I'm like, it'll be the whole storyline. It'll be the entirety of the storyline. So
what would you play then? What's like the thing that you do, or is it just like you play a fantasy?
The storyline would be something like, I don't know, you're saving the world or something.
Okay.
Okay, everyone's an X-Men. It's like everyone has their own power. It's like X-Men, but it's different. Mm-hmm. You know how that is.
Oh, and, yeah.
You're fighting
it's like X-Men, but it's not, because X-Men's TM.
Yeah. Everyone has their own special powers, and you can pick any power you want, and each of those powers has a huge, like, its own storyline, and you can make your character anything you want. Anything. Like, whatever you're thinking, yeah. Except for being, like, gross pedophile or something. Anything but that. You can do anything. Mm-hmm. You can be a furry. You can be gay. You can be trans. You can be an otherkin. You can be all those things. Literally anything. And if you're an otherkin, you can be that. You can be the dragon. You can actually be it. Yeah, yes. You can be the dragon. You can be a human who turns into a dragon. Or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, like, if I had unlimited budget, that's what it would be. And everybody has their own special X-Men powers. Okay, mine would be,
Mine would be a virtual reality experience where you can play Star Trek The Next Generation as your own character. You're like a character that like also would hang out on the bridge and everything, but you are part of the Enterprise
wait a second.
crew.
I would just make Ready Player One. The Oasis.
Yeah. I always felt like Ready Player One, like for some reason, well, what? Okay.
Just explain the Oasis. That's all you need. You don't have to.
Yeah.
The Oasis is basically you can do anything you want, and there's billions and billions of planets, and each of those planets is dedicated to like one sort of fandom. So like an entire planet would be Star Trek. Mm-hmm. And there's like entire quadrants that could be Star Trek if they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So I would have it be Star Trek The Next Generation, and you could like play through it. And like play through the episodes. But you could still have an impact on the episode.
So you like run up onto the bridge and you're like, Picard, Captain Picard.
And people would still actually talk to you and interact with you, and like you could kind of drive.
Can you have sex with them?
I don't see why not.
All right.
Like you could still like drive the plot of each episode, but like you would be playing through each episode as if it was its own separate game.
So every episode ever.
Yeah.
And like there's a new one every week.
Something like that. And I'm sure that like while the actual episodes weren't happening, you could just go in there and it would be like almost like an MMO. Like you could go in there and like other crew members would be like, you know, like you would play through the episodes on your own version of the bridge. But, like, each crew member that you met in there would be another real person who would be playing out their episodes on their own version of the bridge. So you could, like, meet in the cantina and, like, hang out with Guinan, and she could, like, serve you drinks, and you'd be talking to people that you're like, you know, it could be, like, you and me sitting across the table from each other and being like, oh, my God, guess what Captain Picard did in my episode? That type of thing.
So basically, you just want to be in Star Trek.
I just want it to be real.
That's what the Oasis could be, dude.
Yep. So.
Have you finished Ready Player One?
Yeah, I finished that a while ago.
Ah.
Yeah.
What he explained, I'd be like, fuck the world. You know? I'm out of here. Going to the Oasis.
So, Jordan wants to know, what game has had the most impact on you?
Probably the Mass Effect series, simply because I was, like, so obsessed with it for so long.
No way.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to think. It would probably be Mario 64.
I didn't like that game when I was a kid. Something about it, I just like didn't give a shit about it.
I loved it. This was for the N64, and I just was like, my brother and I were obsessed with it. And I just remember going to play it all the time. Yeah. And it's hard to like look at the games that come out now, because obviously the games that we play now have like way more of a story element to it. But I think that when I look at the nostalgia that was wrapped up in that game, that was really just wrapped up in like the whole N64 console for me, that was just incredible. It's hard to feel that way about that same way about games now, because it's like I don't game that way with people anymore. You know? So, any more questions?
I gotta pee.
All right, we can end here if you want.
Is there any more important questions?
No.
Oh, okay. That's podcast 7 of the reboot.
Reboot. So I'm Stacy. You can find me at Geek Remix a lot on Twitter and Tumblr.
And I'm Mara. You can find me at Geek Remix on Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram. Whoever has Stacy's Instagram, can you message her and let her know that she can have it?
Yeah, because somebody took my name on Instagram.
So whoever it is, can Stacy have it back, please?
And I'm pretty sure they're a fan, because I remember at one point they told me that they were taking it. Mm-hmm. So I just don't know how to get in touch with them.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.